Okay, so I have started the recording and I would like to make a motion to open the Town Board as Police Commission meeting for January 21st, 2021.
Second, Alex?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all. To make a motion to approve the Police Commission agenda as written.
Second, Alex?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I think, did we lose?
Dan, I think
did we
Dan,
lose Dan?
we have lost Dan. I'm looking at the,
Need Dan.
we might have lost Dan when, after the pledge. So wait till he comes back. Why don't we open the floor? If anyone has any public comments, please raise your hand on Zoom and we'll please limit yourself to 3 minutes and we'll take public comment while we're waiting for Dan to come back on, or David or Julie. Yeah, so I can't see everyone. I can see one, Jackie, raising your hand, but if people could use the Zoom, because I can't guarantee that I'll raise your hand, but go ahead, Jackie.
I don't know if my comment is appropriate for now or later on in the meeting. Can you clarify that for me?
Well, this is public comment for the Town Board as Police Commission meeting. We're going to have public comment when the Town Board meeting starts.
Very good. I am on the agenda for that, so I will do it at that point. Thank you.
Great. All right. Thanks. If anyone else has any comments, if not, we'll just wait till we have.
I do.
Okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
Are you acknowledging Maggie?
Yes, Maggie, please.
Oh, okay. Are you meeting as a commission at this point, or are you meeting, right, I assume, the police commission at this point?
Technically, no, because we do not have a quorum, but
Oh, okay.
Dan is back now. So yes, we will be meeting as the Town Board as Police Commission now.
Okay, well then I guess then I'll wait for the town board public input portion, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that, there's no more public comment for this. Julie said she's going to be a few minutes late, and she asked us to wait to go into executive session until she arrived. So I'd like to maybe move on to number 2, referral to the Town Board, approval for the use of $1,057 from the computer reserve line to purchase a new system to comply with discovery requests. Current computer systems are not capable of processing and uploading a number and size of video files we're producing to the Ulster County system. So I'd like to make a motion to refer to the Town Board. This is item number 7 on the Town Board agenda.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to make a referral to the Town Board to accept the resignation of part-time dispatcher Colleen Marr. The motion is to refer this to the Town Board. This item 4C on the Town Board agenda.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And number 4 is I'd like to make a motion to refer Town Board approval to resume background investigations on 1 part-time dispatcher and 2 part-time police officers, applicants that were put on hold in 2020 due to budget freeze.
If I could just add, Supervisor, on that, one of the reasons we're asking to move forward with this, obviously the acceptance of dispatcher Mars resignation. She's a full-time probation officer over in Dutchess County, unable to continue working here part-time. We also have the last month the resignation of Joshua Vernon. He has a full-time job, and I'll be forwarding it to the commission next month, but Teresa Hart has also resigned as a part-time dispatcher. So what we're looking to move forward with the backgrounds on these, because at this point, as far as the dispatchers go, we're running into issues with having to mandate coverage on the weekends. And so the availability of the part-timers that we do have is limited. Most of our part-timers, part-time dispatchers have full-time jobs. So their availability to cover the shifts on the weekends is limited. So that's why we would like to, I'm asking not only for the resuming the background on, the part-time dispatcher applicant that we have, but then moving on to item 5, the approval to interview for part-time dispatchers and police officers as well. And then same thing with the police officers. We have 6 part-time police officers right now, 4 of whom have full-time jobs. The availability is again limited, so for us, we want to make sure that we can continue the background on one, and in terms of permission approval to start interviewing additional applicants, the process takes a while. When we interview part-time police officer applicants, many of the applicants don't have phase 2 of the police academy. So for us, it's a matter of interviewing them, then conducting the background investigation and having all of that ready for them to enter the police academy for phase 2, which is usually the end of June, beginning of July. I know that seems far away, but the time usually seems to go by rather quickly. And with only 2 part-time officers available with ample availability, it can be a concern, especially if we take a hit with COVID and or the summertime when we get leave requests. So that's the reason behind both 4 and 5.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to refer items 4 and 5 to the town board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And so number 6 is review proposed new oath for the officer of all police officers and dispatcher applicants. You all need to-
So with this, I spoke with Rosanna. There's nothing that legally precludes us from doing this. This comes down to conversations that I've had with the Reform and Reinvention Committee, and the idea that we want to create a number one, we want to have the right applicants for our community, and then we want to create that organizational culture. And I attended a diversity, equity, and inclusion symposium hosted by Dr. Ed Lawson last week. And I happened to see this slide, and I really took what the city of Philadelphia does, but I think it encapsulates what, our mission statement and what we strive for. And I think having this, having new officers and dispatchers take this, I think, we're starting out and trying to create that culture and the policing that our community wants and needs from us. So that was the whole premise behind this. So I was really appreciative of what the committee had to say in getting us to start thinking like this, and then obviously Dr. Lawson's slide, which I plagiarized. So
Rob, can we read it out so that people can hear what it says?
yeah. I, and be your name, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and abide by the rules and regulations of the New Paltz Police Department without consideration to a person's race, age, color, sex, gender identity, religious creed, sexual orientation, national origin, ancestry, handicap, or disability, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the police officer dispatcher with fidelity and to the best of my ability.
Thank you. It's great.
It's great. I like it. I'm glad you brought
Very
it up.
inclusive. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm all in favor. We take a vote. This is, I think, I'd like to make a motion that this is the new oath for police officers and dispatchers.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in
Thank you.
favor?
It's great.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. And so David, we're waiting. Julie said she's going to be a little late, and so we skipped over the executive session. We've gone through items 2, 3, 4, 5, and we just finished 6. I'm going to hand it over. Julie's here now, but I'm going to hand it over to the chief for the monthly report, and then we can go into executive session after that.
My apologies.
If it's okay, before I start the monthly report, I had a few announcements.
Great. Sorry to skip that. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. Just for the people, for the community to know, on January 29th, the New Paltz Opioid Prevention and Response Team is hosting a virtual Narcan training. You can go to the website and register for that class. It's a virtual class, and free Narcan kits will be provided at community pickup locations and or delivery. So people can come here, they can go, I think, Family of New Paltz, Rescue Squad. And for people that live in the community, we'll deliver those kits as well if they're unable to. And we also include a drug destruction pouch along with that so that people can dispose of unused and unwanted medications at their home as well safely. The Reform Reinvention Committee will be having a virtual town hall meeting on January 27th, 7 o'clock. The collaborative is continuing to its outreach and speaking with community stakeholders, and the 27th is going to be the second town hall, and intended especially for those groups and individuals who the committee has not been able to meet with separately. So it'll be from 7 to 9 p.m. The last thing I would like to say, just throw a real public thanks to Amanda Gatto and Janelle Potter for from the Climate Smart Task Force for their wonderful idea about publicizing the 2 new hybrid SUVs that we have. If you get a chance, I think I'm assuming the article will be in this week's paper, but they had the thought of bringing this forward and doing an article on this and how we're trying to lessen the footprint that we have. So we did a Zoom interview and took some photographs here at the PD the other day. And I really wanted to thank them for considering us and thinking about that and wanting to do that. I told them the only way I was going to get in the photos if they were there as well. So it was great. And they were also looking at potential grants or whatever that may come out that we could use as reimbursement or for future purchases when we're talking about hybrid type vehicles. And the only other thing I'll note here publicly is this is probably the easiest article that Terrence Ward ever wrote. Because in our Zoom meeting, they asked all the questions and it was good. So it was a lot of fun. And that's all I have for announcements.
If I could just quickly piggyback on one of the things that the chief said as well, is that the Reform Commission met today, as they have continued to meet. And I don't know if people caught the governor's State of the State address, but specifically when the governor addressed the work that's being undertaken by all these municipalities and the counties, he actually specifically highlighted the Ulster Commission as one of the most transparent in the state, and how they've engaged people and how they've reached out to community members. And I think that's really exciting too, because when we look at specifically what ours has done in New Paltz, this is not to disparage the county one, but we've really taken that to a new level, considering the amount of reach out that the group has done and allowing for these public forums on Zoom as well. And so it's really exciting that that group has gone just above and beyond as well. And I know, Chief, you had said, speaking with your colleagues as well, that was kind of the read you had gotten to.
Yeah, I was talking to my colleagues, the stakeholder meetings that we've held, no other committee has held the number of stakeholder meetings that we've had in speaking with the chiefs in the county association. So the outreach has been there.
Awesome. Thank you.
So why don't we do the monthly report? I'll hand it over to the chief, and then after that, we'll go into executive session.
So on my report, the only thing I wanted to highlight is the replacement live scan unit. The commission and the town board authorized the use of funds from our computer reserve line to purchase this new unit, and it's a matching unit with the grant from New York State DCJS. And so we anticipate having that. It's been ordered, and we anticipate that arriving within sometime within the first quarter of the year. And I just on a note there, that's the only piece of equipment. I know there's a 2 next to it, but it was the only a piece of equipment that we have. As far as policies go, we did issue a revised policy for records retention to comply with the new LGS1 instead of the MU1. And so I included a copy of that. I think the commission has a copy of the new policy as well. As far as meetings go, the only thing I wanted to publicly thank Alex Wojcik and Ed Burke. We met with them in December, and we have a liaison now to the Landlord Tenant Council, Sergeant Carmine Fuco, and it was Alex's idea, and I think it's great to have that that point of contact, especially with all the changes in the law related to rents, evictions, things like that. And it helps so we can address issues before they come up, and questions can be answered. And even if we don't know those answers, we can point people in the right direction. So I think it's been great. It was a great idea for that Alex had. And so I'm appreciative of her and Ed allowing us to be liaison to that committee. Just going through a couple of commendations. Came from Ulster County Stop DWI, certificates of appreciation for officers Zach Mitchell and Evan Redmond regarding their work in their enforcement efforts in Stop DWI for the year. Just the 2 certificates of appreciation that were in there that I included in your report. We had 1 defensive action report for this year, for this month. And this occurred on December 11th at about 8:30 in the evening, down on Springtown Road by the River to Ridge parking lot. The individual in this is a white male, 5 foot 9 inches tall, approximately 160 pounds. We received a 911 poll from Ulster County 911 Emergency Management regarding a menacing where an individual had indicated that they were threatened with a firearm. They provided a description of the suspect. Officer in the area was checking the area, located a vehicle with one of the individuals matching the description, and ended up removing the individual from the vehicle at gunpoint. So this is a firearm defensive action report. Ended up, it ultimately ended up not being the person in question. They interviewed the operator, and there were no charges or anything for them, and they were sent on their way. In terms of our philosophy with how we look at these reports and what we do, the philosophy of good, better, best. I think some of you have attended our training, our recent defensive tactics training. We talk about that, and in evaluating this, the use of force was in compliance with our policy and training. But in terms of good, better, best, there were certainly things that we identified that could have been done differently or better. And so we have addressed those as training issues. We just want to make sure that we're not just focusing on the application of force itself. And in this case, one of the things that we looked at is, taking for granted that the people that we encounter realize that they're being stopped or encountered by the police. So, there were no issues in terms of deviation from policy, but we did want to talk a little bit about how we want to mentor and look at these in a critical way in terms of trying to improve, how we police. I don't know if there's any questions on this defensive action report. Okay. In terms of the monthly report, what I did just want to note for the commission is that if you looked at this, a lot of this training centered on 2 officers, our youngest officers, our 2 new part-timers, and some of our other a couple of other younger officers. They completed some of the post-academy trainings where it was reality-based training for them. There was radar and LiDAR training, as well as some EVOC training here in-house that we did. So it's nice in the sense that now Officers Town and Marsh are fully certified, and Officers Yeager, Marsh, Town, and Milton have completed at least the classroom portion of our emergency vehicle operations curriculum. So it was a good month for the in-service training. And the other thing just to point out is that Dispatcher Cloud, Tiffany Cloud, had completed the field training program, so she's able to be on her own as far as dispatching goes. I don't know if there's any questions about anything else in the report for this month.
Just a question, Chief.
Yep.
It sounded like the use of force incident, you had the wrong person there at River to Ridge. Was the right person found?
No.
Thanks.
Yep.
Neil, you're muted.
Thank you. So if there are no more questions or comments on the monthly report, I'd like to go back to number 1. And I'm going to make a motion to go into executive session, then I'll pause the recording and we'll send everyone into the waiting room, and then we will go into executive session. I don't think the attorney is here, but I'm not sure if we need them, right, Chief?
Yeah,
So we,
Going into executive session.
so we're going to go into make a motion to go into executive session. I'd like to invite the chief to join us.
Neil, can you give the specific wording for
For matters of personnel.
the employment history of a particular person?
This is for concerning Officer Cisco.
Okay, well, thank you. That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, I'm going to pause the recording after I send everyone. And you guys are hosts, so you can help me send people into the waiting room as well. So let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We might have put one of our own into the waiting room. Daniel Torres. Hey, Dan, are you back?
I think one of you sent me to the waiting room. Thanks, guys.
Yes.
Go to the corner, Dan. Go to the corner.
Okay, so I'm going to pause the recording. Started the recording. I'm going to admit everyone, and we'll make a motion to come out of executive session. So everyone is back in the meeting now. So I'd like to make a motion to come out of executive session and to authorize the chief and the town's labor attorney to notify Officer Cisco that he has violated his last chance agreement and for them to pursue termination.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And, with that, Chief, I'd like maybe to ask if you could maybe just explain the next steps so everyone's clear on what's going to happen and, where we are with this.
Thanks, Supervisor. So what I will do is work with the town labor attorney to prepare the notice of discipline, which will indicate and then be served upon Officer Cisco and or his attorney, indicating violations of the settlement agreement that were signed back in October. The way it will work is that he will be terminated. He is afforded a right to appeal the termination, but that appeal is heard directly by made directly to the arbiter who was hearing the initial case back in September, October. And that it bypasses all the other procedures that are noted in the collective bargaining agreement. So it's just right to the arbiter. If the arbiter finds that he's guilty of the charges in the notice of discipline, then he upholds the termination of employment. If he finds that he is not in violation, well, then he remains an employee. So that it goes to the one arbiter, and ultimately that decision is made by them. So I try to get with the attorney and get that served early next week is the hope.
And Chief, if you don't mind me asking as well, just if Officer Cisco still has a New Paltz issued badge and firearm, or if he has access to other firearms as well at this point.
As far as New Paltz, his New Paltz badge, ID, and firearm, no. Those were confiscated several months ago, and they're here with us. And as far as his access to personally owned or possessed firearms, we are aware that he owns and or possesses, and we are working on that. It just would be, I think it'd be inappropriate for me to just comment anything further on that, just because it's like any investigation, it's something that's open at this point.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anyone else? If not, we will make a motion to adjourn the Town Board of Police Commission meeting, and we'll open the town board meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to make sure no one's in the waiting room. I'd like to make a motion to open the New Paltz Town Board meeting for January 21st, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and with that, I'd like to open the floor for public comment. If there's any comment regarding, sorry.
Public
So I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing for 59 North Putt Water District Extension.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, yes, with that, I'd like to ask if anyone has any comments about our extending Water District 1 to include 59 North Putt, regarding any comments regarding changes to the law. Resolution map of the Water District extension has been posted on the town website. You'll find them, board members, you'll find them under item 10 in your packet. And so if anyone has any discussion or comments, but I'm gonna, as usual, leave this open for the rest of this meeting in case someone isn't here yet and they want to make a comment. It's unlikely, to summarize it, we're extending Water District 1 so we can have public water at the new town project at 59 North Putt for the courts and the police station. And so with that, I'd like to, if no one has any comments, we'll leave this open, and then we're Town Board. I call that to order. So I'd like to ask people to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance for the Town Board meeting. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
And
and
to
to the
the
republic
for
for which it
which
stands,
stands one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under God,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty and
and
justice for
justice
all.
for all.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda for the Town Board meeting.
Second.
I'd like to add two items. One is a late fee surcharge, and the other concerns, something we missed last week at the reorg meeting, adding an attorney to be a town board attorney. With that, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, announcements. I don't have any announcements. If anyone else does, we'll move on, and I'd like to open the floor for public input. Try to keep things limited, and but we don't want to cut people off. So Jackie Brownstein, you raised your hand, and I'd like to ask you to.
I'm sorry, Jackie, she's on the agenda, or are you asking her for public comment now?
She's on the agenda under public input. So I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
sure if we're doing this as part of public input or just part of this, but we could maybe, Jackie, would you be okay if we kind of let members of the public speak first, and then we can move on to you as part of the town board meeting?
Absolutely, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, great. So Maggie, it looks like you have two questions, but Maggie.
Yeah, thank you. I'm unmuted.
Yes,
Yeah. Thank you.
now you're muted.
You're muted.
Now you're muted. Let's see, we're unmuted.
Yeah. How
Now
about
you're
now?
unmuted.
Okay,
Yep, now you're
good.
fine.
Thank you. I'd like to make a couple comments. Well, several comments, actually. Number one, I really want to thank you, thank the board for having, and maybe it's a better comment that goes directly to, it's really a formal and public thank you to Mr. Marks for his work as a superintendent of highways. A few weeks ago, maybe a month and a half ago or so, maybe even longer, I called because we live on a cul-de-sac on Willie Road, and there was a situation that the pavement was really, as you turned, the pavement was really severely damaged, so the trucks could not turn around. Our garbage truck had a really hard time picking up garbage, and we anticipated that the heavy trucks for doing the plowing would have a problem turning around. And they had been having a problem before. So Mr. Marks, I think you're on, and I want to just really, really thank you for being so prompt and responsible for taking care of that problem, because there's no problem with the road anymore. We turn around easily. The plowing works well, and the garbage man is happy, as we are. So first and foremost, thank you for that. I also wanted to comment on what Dan said, about the congratulatory note from the governor, I believe, on, is it the Ulster County Commission that was congratulated, Tom? Can you just shake your head, Dan? Yeah, well, I happen to be a member of that commission because I was asked to be part of that commission through Citizen Action. The county executive appointed several members. I guess there's like 12, maybe 18 members to 20 members, and the county has 12 members of color on that commission, and so in that regard, it was really very responsible with trying to get a group of people who would represent a cross section of the community. But I would also add that I don't know if the governor understands how that commission was, how the people were appointed. I mean, if I was going to say, he might have been confused with the county of Ulster, the town of Ulster's process, because the commission has only had 3 public meetings, maybe 4. None of their meetings of the workings of the committee have been public. I'm on two of those subcommittees, and none of them have been public. So I think that maybe he was talking about the town of Ulster. The town of Ulster recently had there's a really good model. And I would say even the county legislature model is good. They have a task force, and anybody who wants to join, who volunteers, can be part of that. The meetings and people are informed of the meetings, and they're welcome to participate in the meetings pretty openly. The town of Ulster had a call for volunteers. They put out the volunteers, and anybody who wanted to volunteer could be on that committee. And so the town of Ulster has a very open committee, and they end up welcoming the public. Meetings are open and publicized, and public comment is taken at all times. And it runs very smoothly. So I think there's 18 people on that little town's commission, and it works really wonderfully. So in terms of transparency, I would tell the governor, and I will contact the governor, a true model of true transparency and democracy is working much better with the town of Ulster as a member of the county commission for us. So that's all relative. And to that end, I'm here also to make a request for the need for transparency, really. I'm part of Ulster Activists, and there's a little subcommittee of a committee of Ulster Activists that has been working on police reform and reinvention. And we recently drafted a request to the steering committee because our experience is concerning in relation to how open this local committee is. Let me read that to you if I might. This will be going to the steering committee. Dear steering committee, we have heard you at town board meetings and at listening sessions with small groups of community members. During those forums, we have heard many questions and requests from community members that the steering committee involve more community members in the ongoing work required for EO 203 plan. These should have been self-selected members, as does the town of Ulster and the Ulster County Task Force, which we learned by attending their typically open public meeting. We have also heard requests of greater transparency in the process of developing the ET03 plan. We have also heard that the steering committee has Thursday work sessions wherein steering committees conduct their deliberative process for analyzing and synthesizing their ongoing research and the 203 plan development. Upon hearing of the weekly sessions, one of our members suggested that the steering committee announce and provide public access to view your work sessions meetings. We are not privy to any of your decision-making process, so we do not know what has happened with that suggestion. Therefore, we are reminding you of that suggestion with this official request. Please enable greater community stakeholder participation by simply creating internet access for the public to view your meetings and provide an opportunity for periodic public input and discussion. The town board does this as does other town board committees. Why not do this as well? We believe that the spirit, intent, and the letter of E203 mandate would more properly be served with more moves towards greater transparency and community stakeholder involvement. Our own committee would like to remind you that E203 mandate specifically calls for bottom-up decision-making and meaningful collaborative efforts for dealing with racism and policing. As my own aside, when our committee met as one of those constituency groups that the steering committee decided to meet with, they made it very clear they're a listening group. They are not a dialogue group. They simply want to listen. Our interest is to dialogue. Our interest is to provide input. So I really want to sincerely request that consideration be taken seriously and in the spirit it's intended. We want to help. We want to work. We're not trying to be obstructionists. We really do believe that it's more democratic to have it transparent and open, just as other committees of this town are minimally. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And so Tom, if you could.
I'm unmuted.
Yes, great, thank you.
My name's Tom Jelliff. I'm also with UACT. And I just really want to support what Maggie has said. Yes, we had one of the listening sessions with the steering committee. And it's frustrating to say something to a group and have no idea what will be done with what you say. And then you multiply that times all the groups that they've spoken to. I think all those groups want to be more than want to just speak to a sounding board. Well, it's not even a sounding board because you don't hear back. You want to know how people take what you hear, whether they really understood what you said, whether they're giving it full consideration. You want to know whether other people's voices are being heard in the way that they're intended. All the reasons that we have open meeting laws. And that even within the group dynamics of the group, you hope that that everybody's being treated fairly and openly. And I think, not having it open, you miss real opportunities for for people to feel engaged, to ultimately be able to support the end product, to understand perhaps why the committee didn't go with the way that you had perhaps talked to them about. It all sort of lays a groundwork for the implementation of the process as well. It has transparency means legitimacy. So for all those reasons, I want to support Maggie in what we as a group are requesting, that these become more open meetings. And just briefly, I guess Jackie's going to be speaking to a proposal that came out of our UAC committee. I'm wondering whether we'll have a chance to support her in that request after she speaks, because it wouldn't make sense to lend our support until she speaks. Is that a possibility?
I
Tend to
mean,
not do that just because she's on the agenda. This is usually the moment that we do have public input. I would say if you want to speak on relative to Jackie's proposal, I think it's appropriate to do that now.
and this won't be the last time. I mean, we're going to hear more about this. This isn't like a one and done for this topic.
Oh, okay.
So there'll be other opportunities.
Then I don't want to take away any of what she's going to say, and I'll save my place for future sessions. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. And Edgar?
Hi, Edgar Rodriguez, resident of New Paltz. I support the comments of both Tom and Maggie for the need for transparency, open membership, all those issues. But that's really not my main point. My main point that I will discuss, which I did not expect to make this evening, has to do with the term institutional racism. Actually, someone today challenged me about should we use the word institutional racism when we talk about the police commission, the town board, and the New Paltz Police Department. Institutional racism is what founded this country. And as we saw on January the 6th, it is the greatest problem that we have as a society. New Paltz is a microcosm of that. And we know even the police chief at one meeting that I attended with him admitted, he says, I'm a racist, that he has had that experience. And so the comment that I'm going to make, and I'm going to make it loud and clear, is that I'm reminding all of you that there is institutional racism in the town board of New Paltz, in the police commission of New Paltz, and in the New Paltz Police Department. Evidence. When Paul Echols was attacked by a police officer, Officer North, he was quietly retired. The vengeance-like assault on Officer Cisco, which ends with his termination tonight, it is a fundamental contradiction. What you gave to the white officer, you allowed him, after he admitted that he multiple times punched Paul Echols while sitting in the back of a police cruiser with handcuffs on, already injured and a victim, that the phony charges that the officers made, he was exonerated by in a jury trial in New Paltz. It's all evidence of institutional racism. And the town board protected the officer by letting him resign. You protected him when the Civilian Review Commission found excessive use of force, you threw that out. The supervisor at the community meeting said, I'm getting rid of that Civilian Review Committee. And he did it, and it became an issue, and we still do not have one. I do not understand how you possibly could. I consider Officer Cisco as a case of a high-tech lynching, because the mean-spirited way you've approached his situation has nothing to do with restorative justice as a Black officer. We know that apparently there was some issue that occurred with bigotry around trans people, and I understand that, okay? But the officer was a violent officer who attacked, and you allowed him to retire quietly with a pension. That is not the treatment that Officer Cisco has gotten. And Dan Torres sits here, and we served on the school board. And someone has to explain to me how the public lynching of him was so public and not Officer North. On the school board, we do not discuss personnel matters in public. You have relentlessly done that in the case of Cisco. And I say that that is racism, okay? That is institutional racism. Now, Dan is nodding his head. Maybe if for municipalities, you can discuss personnel matters.
We haven't discussed personnel matters. You're not aware of why we're moving forward with this, other than that we're going because he's violated a contract.
I'm raising a different
But
question.
if you could wrap it up, Mr. Edgar, if you could wrap it up, because you've used your 3 minutes.
Just answer that question, please. You can discuss.
We're not doing a back and forth. Could you wrap up your comments, please?
Well, I like an answer to that question. I think I'll wrap.
We're not doing a back and forth. Is that all you have to say? I'd like you to wrap up your comments, please.
I'm going to wrap it up. I accuse the New Paltz Police Department, the New Paltz Town Board, and the New Paltz Police Commission of institutional racism. What has divided our country from the beginning, you are a microcosm of it, and there is institutional racism that's going on in this town. And that's why there is even a greater need now to have total open transparency where we can speak. I participated in 3 meetings. I observed 3 meetings of the steering committee. And those committees only once, after prying deeply and offering them that we could give them 3, 6, 12, or 15 volunteers to help them do the research and the work they were doing, because they were complaining that they were overwhelmed. They rejected all that. They're not transparent. And there is a fundamental problem here. I'm done with my comment.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any comments? If not, we will move on to
just give a
Jackie.
very quick update on the commission, which I think is relevant for the community as well.
Good question.
Yeah. So
kind of that's what the bat is. So Rachel kind of kicked things
I don't know
off.
what that is in the background.
I don't either.
Sorry. So I just wanted to say, relative to kind of the process of the commission and what the next steps are, because I think a lot of people have asked about that, and I think that's important here. So one, I appreciate Maggie kind of giving a little bit of an update specifically on what the county process has been, which sounds very similar to what our town process has been. And just to clarify, that is the same process that the governor specifically called out as being a transparent process and held it up as an example for the rest of the state. You can nod your head no, but if you want to watch the state of the state address by the governor, that's what he did. Relative to our next steps and community members' ability to participate in that, I believe we did say in the beginning of the police commission meeting that I think it's next Wednesday, there's going to be another open session for people to speak to the commission. Beyond that as well, as you know, that they have to generate a report that will eventually come to the town board for adoption. Once there is a draft report available, which the hope is that'll be early in March, that'll be placed online for the public to get, and then they're going to hold an additional session specifically to talk about the findings of that report and to get feedback from people to then make potential changes for that before it eventually comes to us as the town board. And then at which time the town board will review that document that has come from the commission, that's also been heard by other people as well in our community, and that those edits have been made too. So there are a number of opportunities for people to participate in that process still, and then for them to also have that impact heard within the document that will be presented to the board. And prior to us being able to adopt that, we'll also have a good amount of time for the community to participate in that process too. You're on mute, Neil.
Okay, thanks, Dan.
Neil, I think Chris had his hand up. Chris Marks had his hand up. I don't know, Chris, if you still have a question or something to say. And then I know Jackie had her hand up still too.
Yeah, sorry, I'm working off a cell phone. I just had a question about the water district. If I read the PDF right, we're only going to the north,
Yes.
to the new building. And maybe it's too late. Would it make any sense to also go to the south to encompass the property that Freihofer was on? I know there was an issue with that. We made a mistake years ago in putting that on town water, and it was out of district. I know Tim has asked for that to be added in the district, and then include the property east-west side of North Putt up to 299 to mate it up with the water district that goes over to Thruway, then back down South Putt.
We asked the attorney that. He said to keep everything separate just because, you know, of the way it has to be paid for. And so the town is paying for the extending this district, everything has to be covered. And so unless the other properties were willing to pay for like the attorney's fees and everything else, the town would have to pay for all of that. And so the attorneys just said, keep everything separate. And if we want to add those other properties, we can, but they need to, and we have reached out to them several times with no response, that they need to put an escrow in place and a petition. You have to, the rules are that you have to petition to be included into the district, and they haven't done any of that.
Okay,
So,
just a question.
yeah, no, we wanted to try to solve some old problems at the same time, and the attorney said, keep it simple. So we're just doing that.
Okay,
But, yeah,
cool.
it's
you.
still we're still thinking about it.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I appreciate that. And so with that, Jackie, I'd like to invite you to present to the board.
Thank you, and good evening. I'm here on behalf of UACT and its Police Reform and Reinvention Committee on a different issue that the committee has been working on. I'm here to propose and to support the establishment by the town of New Paltz of a standing committee on equity and race relations. We support the establishment of this committee to be charged with developing and implementing projects and programs to heighten public understanding of the unjust burdens that people of color have faced and the bountiful contributions people of color have made locally, as well as on the county, state, and countrywide. And we also propose that this committee involve the participation of any and all sectors of the New Paltz community, with, of course, priority on our people of color in planning, implementation of projects to bring attention to the contributions of people of color. And these can include many things and not limited to, but things like celebrations, public acknowledgements, public productions, web pages, sign making, and other public displays focused on awareness and giving support to Black Lives Matter. We have additional things that we have spelled out in a document that we have delivered to the town board member, Dan Torres, and we ask that you make that document part of these minutes. It has to be noted that small and large communities throughout our country have recognized the need to establish similar committees, knowing that we must, all communities, address systemic racism present in all parts of our communities. Our town, New Paltz, must do the same. We can do no less. We therefore urge you to establish a standing committee on equity and race relations and to move forward with this charge immediately. I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie.
So, yeah, no, I mean, I think that's great. I'm looking forward to reading the document from Dan. We'll figure out what exactly, I'm in favor of it. I think we have to figure out exactly, we have to have a write-up for and maybe you could give us a hand with this, like what the charge is, what are the procedures, the members, how does it get established, and what are the kind of the procedures for it? But yeah, it sounds great. I mean, it's
Right.
certainly worth having a discussion about more. It's a great idea.
Thank you. And the committee would be glad to help you in any way that you feel, and to help you recruit members that would be appropriate for this committee. We feel it's a critical time, and the time is now to grab this moment and to do it. And I think that New Paltz can be forward-looking in our county. And as I said, small towns, large cities have recognized this tremendous need to be able to address racism throughout all the aspects of our society.
Yeah, I think it's really great, Jackie, and I think that between now and our next meeting, we can also talk to work out more of a specific framework of how many members we think make sense in those items. I will also say, because it was said earlier, and I do think it's important to say, I think all of us here acknowledge that institutional racism in every entity that we're involved in, whether that be town government, states, or other organizations, exists and is a problem. And if we can't acknowledge that, that's also a part of the problem. So I think that it's really important that we look within and how we can do better. And I appreciate you bringing this proposal forward for us to start to do that.
Thank you.
I
Yes,
agree. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jackie.
yes, me too. I thank you very much. I strongly feel that equity and race relationships are an exercise. It's not a static. This is, how I feel. I am not racist. I am not this. It's an exercise. It's something you exercise every day. And a committee like this can really allow us to create events and moments and activities in the town of New Paltz to exercise every single day that opinion. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of that exactly, Alex. So, you have to get people thinking about it and questioning themselves. And a good way to do that is with events and activities, and, even just reading about it in the paper, I think, gets people to kind of sit back and pause and be reflective. And I think there's a real need for that. So this is great.
Thank you.
Jackie, I just want to add my thanks. I like the idea a lot. And also note that some of the activities and things you may be thinking of may intersect with Phoenix's world as community coordinator, and would suggest bringing her in on some of your thoughts. As she is a municipal employee who probably her mission and yours may intersect, and there may be some work that can be done together. I think it is about awareness and folks getting together and having these conversations together.
Yes, thank you. And, I was thinking about bringing in people like Susan Stetson Cohn and the work she's been doing on the history of our town, and how that impacts all of us. And the work that's been doing in the public and New Paltz Public Schools on anti-racism work, as well as on the college. There are disparate elements, and this is an opportunity to collect all of that, to look at what we can do as we move forward and deal with what's going on, not only in our community, particularly in our community. We all have to look at ourselves, but in the larger communities as well.
Great. Any other comments before we move on to Joanna? Joanna, well, I think we're ready to move on to you. So this is Joanna Dempsey. She's been talking to Chuck a bunch about a proposed community compost project at the community center. And so I know you need to share your screen, and I'm going to make you a co-host so you can share your screen.
Okay.
And you're co-host now, so you should be able to share your screen. I think if you go down to the bottom of your.
Yes, right there.
Great. Okay, thank you.
See?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I'm Joanna Dempsey, and it's myself and a few of us from New Paltz, Amanda Gatto, Alex Pasa, Matthew Bird, Pat Holtz, and Nina Jerka. I think Amanda's here. I'm not sure if any of the others made it, but we're all enthusiastic about this possible plan. I live in the Village Arms, which you see a little bit on the left. It's a condo complex of 88 apartments, and we have no place to put our food, and it's tragic. I produce so much beautiful food scraps, and it just goes right into the landfill. And I tried to do a compost program with community compost with memberships, and it was just, people weren't interested because you have to pay a fee, and it was just a little bit too much for people. So I thought, why not just make it right here and not have it be picked up and driven to Kerhonkson, and just make it right on the spot. There's also the condo complex south of us, Mulberry Square. I think they have about 56 apartments that could also use this. So anyway, I gathered up this group of wonderful people, and Amanda volunteered to speak to Cheryl Alloway at the Reformed Church down on Huguenot, because they have 2 compost bins going. And Cheryl explained that they work very well, and we thought, why reinvent the wheel? We'll just copy it. Specifically the one that's next to adjacent to the bigger church, right on the big white church. But we would add, there's 2 bins there, and we would add a 3rd bin because it helps to bring the compost to completion. You would put all the scraps into the first, and then once that's filled, you would shovel it to the second, and then you would shovel it to the third, and by the time it's shoveled to the third, it would be finished, and people can take it, or it can just be spread around right there on the island. Nina went and had a discussion with Chuck on site to think about the location, and they came up with this spot. Chuck suggested that we could use the kiosk for the sign. We could put a community center garden project or demonstration project or something like that. We also thought maybe we could enlist the high school students to paint some sort of mural / sign. We got the idea from that beautiful mural they painted on the gas station on Main Street and 32. It's also a good spot because people can pull up right there in that parking space that you see in front, dump, and then leave. We discussed, at first I was thinking there'd be a lot of wildlife, but I guess we learned that and it's been demonstrated on Huguenot that if you don't put any meat or dairy or greasy foods, it really doesn't attract wildlife. And we also thought it would be nice to plant a pollinator garden around it, and some plants that detract rodents as well. If it's successful, we could build one at Moriello Pool. You know, we could build them around New Paltz if it's going well. Yes. So, and also we were thinking that we would fundraise for it. It's going to cost about $500-600, and we would just fundraise sort of similar to Millbrook Preserve. Of course, we would accept money if there was any, but I imagine because of the pandemic, I'm sure the town is strapped. And I also just learned today that there's a proposal for a butterfly garden. So I'm interested in coordinating with those people. So anyway, we're asking if we can do this.
Yeah, so thanks, Joanna. You know, I'm a big fan of this. We just talked a lot about equity. You know, for me, you know, I've been talking to Laura Petit before she retired. The best thing we can do to reduce landfill waste is to compost and get that out of the waste stream. And so, I've been talking to Laura about this for a while. It's just hard with the person power that we have. But if we have volunteers in the community that want to do this, I think it's good for the planet. I think it's good, not everyone has a big backyard where they can do the composting. And so I really like the fact that we're doing this. I know some people might say, oh, well, do it up at the reuse center, but I like this. It's convenient to a lot of people who live the densities in the village. So I think it's a great idea, and I'm really glad you guys are doing it. But I'll let some other town board members kind of weigh in. This other pollinator garden that we're talking about, it's still in the very early stages, but it's closer to the road, working with some high school students and a teacher there. Phoenix is working with them. The idea is that on those slopes that along 32, we, instead of having grass and mowing grass, the students want to plant a pollinator garden there. And we don't have to mow, so we save money with that. And then we also get some pollinators out there. So, I think both of these, they work really well together. We're still working on that with the teachers, but so the board hasn't heard anything about it yet, but that it's in the early stages, but it's similar to what we talked about in other parts of town. So I'll let the other town board members weigh in now.
Joanna, I think this is Alex. I just wanted to let you know, I think it's a wonderful idea. I love composting. I think it's a great educational experience for the kids to grow up with a community compost. Like you said, it's really good for communities where people don't have the luxury of a big backyard where they can do it themselves. And having one that works well and knowing that it's working will maybe allow you to move to other places. So people have different places they can go to. So I like your proposal. If and when this all works out, I do encourage you to go to Lowe's. Interestingly enough, throughout this pandemic, Lowe's has not lost any money. And everyone's building additions. They give out grants, community grants. So that might be a go-to. So you might want to reach out to them.
Yes, if you need a letter from us, we can give you a letter saying we're doing this. They have given money for trees that I've planted in the past.
Okay.
Yeah, this is David. Fully support this. I love the location. Love to have a place for a few tools there, so when people come, they can be part of turning it. And good instructions on here's how you can participate and be part of this. I just think it's a fantastic idea, and was wondering what's supposed to happen in that little island there. It always seems like such wasted space and could be used for something like this. So fantastic idea. Thank you.
Can I speak one more time?
Yeah, please. Yeah, you're presenting and having a discussion. So good.
Amanda, I just remembered Amanda and I were talking about the shed next to it. and wondering if that could be incorporated with the mural if we ask high schoolers for ideas about painting a sign on the kiosk. Could we incorporate the shed, which doesn't have much on it at the moment? Or
So do you mean the gray kiosk right there, or the shed further?
well, I'm thinking both, or should we just stick with one? There's
Well,
that shed that could.
Yeah, we're going to be replacing that shed.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be replaced as part of, we have some water wells there. And so that's, the village is going to, we're going to take that down and rebuild it. And it's going to be like some pumping stations and stuff like that. And so the village is going to be taking care of that. It's going to be a new shed. I'm not sure if they're interested in
just
putting a mural, but the kiosk that's right there is, just really right now for the DMV, so they can plug in. And it's kind of gray because we painted it gray, but if, I don't see why we couldn't make it look nice. Yeah, I have no problem with that.
This is, if that's all right, I'll say something. Are you done, Joanna?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Julie, and I too like this idea very, very much. I love the community involvement and the message of, helping our environment. And I do wonder about the wildlife issue. I just would love to know if, I don't know, do we have a little time to just look into that a little bit more, and the possibility that maybe the first bin would have a lid so that it wouldn't, because when you feed animals, it changes their behavior, and it's so close to the Millbrook Preserve. So I personally would be inclined to look into a little bit more to see, like I said, whether there's the possibility of having a lid on the first bin where it's really food, or just seeing if there's more literature about how it changes behavior of wildlife.
Yeah, the first design we had was from a website called Urban Farm Plans out of DC, and that was very, very was very rodent proof. They build them in the middle of metropolis, so they're very contained. But it was a little bit expensive. We thought maybe we'd build a simple one first before we build the fancy one. But yeah, putting a lid on the first one that has food in it, that makes sense. We could do that. We could think about that. Yeah. We don't want we don't want to track bears. But I think from what I learned, that it's pretty good if you don't have any meat and dairy. They're not so much attracted. But we'll do some more research first on that.
Thanks, and I'm curious too now. The school, my daughter's school, has an open compost, and I've seen groundhogs in there. So I know that there is some attraction just by, some animals find it attractive, and so.
Well, I was thinking too, we could plant a lot of onions and, catmint, all the smelly pollinator plants, maybe to detract them. That might help as well. I mean, it's, I think we're not really sure if it's going to be perfect, but there's just so much waste, and it might work. It might be easy. Nina was our real inspiration, because when she came onto the project, she said it's so easy. And she actually lives she lives very close to the Millbrook Preserve, and she does it out in her backyard, and she hasn't had any problems. I mean, I think it can be a work in progress, but I think we can try, and if it's attracting too many animals, it can always be taken apart and dismantled.
Always add a lid later on.
Yeah, the lid seems.
Yeah, we can add a lid, or
easy.
just but I think the potential, if it does work, is really exciting.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm in favor of, making a motion to allow Joanna and this group to move forward with this project.
A second, sounds great.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
you.
nice. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
And so,
Stop. Here we go.
let's see. Okay, so I'd like to we got a bunch of stuff. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session again to discuss legal matters. And so I'm going to put everyone in the waiting room, and we'll pause, and then we'll tell.
Neil, before we do that, since I think we only have a consent agenda items left, do we want to actually vote on the consent agenda and then go into executive session?
We have consent, and then we got this the site count. We can push this back if you want. Why don't,
I just think it might be easier technology wise to not have to move people in and out. But I'm fine either way.
I mean, I'm afraid I'll mess things up if I don't. So we'll just put people in the waiting room real quick. It's not too many. So we'll put everyone in the waiting room. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss legal matters, and then we will put people in the waiting room. So
Neil, legal matters would need to be more roundly specified if it's an existing case.
an existing case.
And
Do I
who,
have to-
who the case is, like XYZ Corporation.
Trans Hudson Corporation.
Sorry.
Trans Hudson Corporation.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll second the motion for
There you go.
executive session.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I've started the recording. We can admit everyone back in. And everyone is back in. And so I would like to make a motion to come out of executive session and to appoint Rick Golden to be one of the town board attorneys and to assist us in our case against Trans Hudson.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Okay, that's that. And let's see, so,
Gotta move these away from me. Oops.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
great, thank you. Oh, wait, did we skip number, yeah, motion, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 And so item number 2 is a sewer 1 pump station dedication. So this this paperwork's been it's posted on the town website. It's a motion. This was kind of on an agenda back in, if you look at the dates on, this was back on the agenda back in, I think maybe 16 or 17. We tabled it, we had some questions, and then we never did it after that. But it's really just to accept a sewer pump station that was built as part of the Hampton Inn. And so we're taking ownership of that, and all of the paperwork is in there. It's been inspected, it's working fine. And so we just never did this. So this is a motion to accept the conveyance and assignment of all rights, titles, interest of the town's sewage pump station located on property situated on the easterly side of South Puck Corners Road in the town of New Paltz, bearing New Paltz tax map identification SBL 86012-411.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So this next one is a site contract award for 59 North Putt. Matt might be joining us if people have questions about it. But this is, we put the bids out. This is a resolution to rejecting the low bid and then accepting the second lowest bid. And we have so we have two resolutions. One is to reject the low bid, and we have all of that on the town's website, the justification for that. And then we have the other one to resolution to authorize the contract award for the second lowest bid.
I motion to approve both of those resolutions and thank Matt for a great explanation of why.
Okay, great. Yes, thank you.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you. Okay, so the item number 5 and is we have some water bill revisions, and so this is for Brown. I'd like to make a motion to accept the revised bill and grant a credit of $218.16.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the next one is a motion to accept, number 6 is to accept the revised water bill with a credit of $438.15.
Second.
That's for Pesavento?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 7 is a motion to approve the use of $1,057 from the New Paltz Police Department computer reserve line to purchase a new system to comply with discovery requests.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to make a motion to approve background investigation on 1 part-time dispatcher and 2 part-time police officer applicants.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 9 is a motion to approve the January warrant in the amount of $1,250,903.93.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 10 is the 59 Northport Water District's extension. I'd like to ask one more time if there are any comments or questions. If not, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing for the Water District extension. And then I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution, and just kind of briefly, this is the notice of hearing was published and posted as required by law and is otherwise sufficient. All properties in the district in the extension are benefited. All benefited properties are included in the district extension, and it is in the public interest to expand the district. And so I'd like to make a motion to approve the extension of the district.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, and just for clarity, and to end the public hearing as well. So
Yep.
we'll second both motions and approve both motions.
Yes, thank you. And I know Matt just joined us, but Matt, I think your explanation for the contract awards, I think, was sufficient. No one had any questions, so.
Thanks, man.
I just, yeah, it's good to see everybody. I just thought I'd quickly pop in and see if there was any confusion. No, it was a difficult situation just because, we certainly didn't want to disqualify them inappropriately, but I was getting a lot of indications of concern. So I'm sad that I guess I'm sorry that BOCES is having to go through all this, but for our purposes, it was helpful that we, got some documentation of the situation.
And the difference is pretty small compared to the total amounts, a few $1,000s.
Yeah, it's nothing. And this other group, I mean, we interviewed both Casa Builders and Del Signore, and they were great, really smart folks. Like Palumbo's familiar with them. I think it's really going to complete what's, I think a terrific team. I've been on these bi-weekly meetings with the team so far, and I've been pretty impressed with everyone. So I think we'll be fine. I mean, unfortunately, we're a little bit behind schedule, but I think we'll be all right.
Great.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, that's it. I'm in, I'm out.
You're out.
Right.
Take
So
care.
are we, I think, actually.
No, we have one more thing. I added,
oh.
I wanted to talk to the town board about what I'm calling a late fee surcharge.
Oh, yes.
And so, you know, we've all audited vouchers and seen late fees on bills. And I know it frustrates the heck out of all of us, and it really frustrates us. And to some extent, those late fees are unavoidable sometimes because of just the way we have to go through the motions with, you know, approving the warrant, and we have meetings scheduled every 2 weeks. But we've tried to get around that with, with monthly purchase orders. So if you know you have a bill from Central Hudson, you have a standing purchase order, right? Just using this to explain it to the public as well. And so, you know, when, like, as soon as you get that bill from Central Hudson, you submit it with that purchase order, and the bill gets paid right away, and there's no late fees. That's not always the case, right? That still happens. We still see these late fees when we audit the POs, right? And I know it's bothered every town board member since I've been here, and because I think every one of you has talked to me about it, and they make notes. Why are we paying this late fee, right? And it enrages us. So I spent a lot of time talking to Gene and the bookkeepers, and one of the ideas that we came up with was this internal surcharge. So if someone gets a late fee on something that would have been avoidable, we do a budget modification, and we take $100 out of their budget for every late fee. And I think quickly, I mean, the money stays in the town. It just goes back into like the fund balance. But I think, people are very, very careful about the money that's in their budget as department heads. And if suddenly they're losing $100 out of their budget, I think they'll, it will make them put a little more effort into. And these late fees don't happen all the time, but they happen enough that I think we're all frustrated. And I think we need to incentivize people to make sure that they don't happen. And so that's my proposal to the town board is that, we put together this, internal surcharge. And yes, I think there are going to be times when people the bill came late and they get a late fee, and we can waive those, right? And we can put the money back into their account. But I think this is only going to happen a few times before people realize that, as soon as they get that bill, they fill out that PO and they send it in, and they don't get the late fee, right? That's just and I wanted to see what the board thought of that idea.
I'm very much in favor of it. And I appreciate you coming up with a creative idea to solve an internal issue that I don't think we should have. So I'm happy we're doing that, and happy to back you up on that.
Yeah, those late fees really, really bother me. I write them all down. And I mean, there are times when it really adds up, It's like you're like $80 later, $100 later, you've got late fees. It's a lot. It's a good bit of money.
Yep. When my wife found out about that, she was enraged. She's like, "That's my money."
Yeah.
Right? When I talked about it, I personally hate late fees. It's like a pet peeve of mine, the late fee thing. Everything's on automatic withdrawal. But so just a quick question. I did notice that quite a few of these late fees come from the same companies, same place every month.
Central Hudson.
Yeah. So sometimes if you reach out to the company themselves and just say, "Hey, listen, this is how these vouchers work," and you obviously get paid. You get paid every time. You might get paid a week later. You might get paid 7 days later. You might get paid 3 days later, but you always get paid. So can you just eliminate the fees?
Well, but this is why we have the monthly PO. So they don't have to. You don't need to go to the department head who has that Central Hudson bill. Doesn't need to then send an email to to bookkeeping and say, "Oh, I need a PO number for this." They have a standing PO. That bill comes in, they could pay it that day.
Right. So there's no excuse.
There's no excuse. It ends up getting you get distracted, like we all do, right? This is what happens in all of our lives. Oh, I'll pay that tomorrow. Oh, I will, I'm going to pay my bills on Saturday when I'm drinking my coffee or something, right? Everyone I think does this. And then Saturday comes and, it's a nice day and you go for a walk and you forget and then you get a late fee, right? And
Not their money.
it's not that different things happen in town. Like, so, there's something comes up and we all get busy, right? But I think that this is, just a way of incentivizing people to not let that just get buried by the next task or another piece of paper. It's like that comes in, you pay it right away because, that's not a $10 late fee, it's a $100 fee that comes out of your budget. And, when we do budgets, you guys know the department heads are fighting for every single penny.
Yeah.
Neil but I find that the only place there are late fees is in Central Hudson. It's not on other things. So I don't understand, like, if they're sitting on bills, they're not just only sitting on Central Hudson, and Central Hudson can't have like such a short window that it only happens there, right? I mean, why is it happening there and nowhere else?
I think they're more aggressive than, other companies do realize, like, oh, well, it's a municipality. I think Central Hudson, they don't care. Like, we could ask them.
Is there a way, I hear the standing purchase order thing, and they still have to sign off, huh? They still have to sign off when they get that bill. There's nothing we can do to automate the process so they know, hey, Central Hudson's sending a bill. It's a prepay anyway. So why can't you just say, pay that bill?
That's what we've been saying, and it just somehow it doesn't happen. And I'm hoping this.
I just worry about, it's not an incentive, it's a punishment. And I just wonder a little bit about it drives me crazy too. And,
if it doesn't work, we could do something else. This isn't costing us any money, but we've been talking about this since, like, I think the first day I did vouchers.
I worry a little bit about it may cost us morale.
Yeah.
Pay the
I
bill
think
on
there's
time.
exceptions to the rule, though. If there are real things that happen which cause a late bill, we shouldn't be penalizing that.
Exactly.
If we're seeing late bills that are avoidable bills, then I think we need to address that. And it sounds like we've tried to do this and we haven't been successful. So I am in favor of trying to correct those type of late bills, but I do agree that there are things that happen, then we shouldn't penalize people for that.
Well, what do you think of, like, sending out like a warning note?
Like one warning.
Like one,
One warning, the next one you can charge.
Everyone gets one mulligan, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then after that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
No, here's your warning, and here's exactly how to avoid it in case there's any lack of clarity on how you can avoid this really easily.
Yeah.
And so here's your warning, and here's your explanation of how you avoid it. Otherwise, unless it has a good excuse, we're going to charge. I can be in favor of that.
I'm in favor of that.
I'm also in favor of, like, look, there are going to be times when, there are some companies that, their bills, they send them out and the mail is slow. So who knows, right? And I don't want to penalize people for I'm not trying to, like, crush people's souls here. I'm just trying to, add some sort of reminder that this is $10 is a lot of money, and maybe it's not enough to make people pay the bill on time, but maybe $100 is. And it doesn't cost the taxpayers anything. It just, I think it gets people motivated. So I thought we'd try it. If people hate it, we'll end it, But, so what I'm hearing is we do this with everyone gets one free pass.
Yep.
And then I would like to also add in, if there are extenuating circumstances where, they can make a case, and we can also waive them on a case-by-case basis. I'm happy to do that. But
I'll second that if that was a motion.
All right. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thanks, everybody. Let's see if it works. Our little experiment in
Thanks, Neil, for having
democracy.
me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, well, the other thing is it's more work for the accounting staff, right? When things aren't handed in on time, it just makes their jobs a lot harder. And so I'm just trying to look out for them as well. So with that, I have nothing else. And make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
All right.
Right?
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody.
Thank you.
I'm going to end the